in her first match. And Shun beat Rochita Sonde 11-7, 11-4, 11-3, 11-1. Much for the coaches to contemplate. Not the easiest of tasks for them either. Even though they may be sitting down, they may be watching, they are scrutinising and studying everything. And you are
first game,
scrutinising and coming to the conclusion on the fan vote. There's a 3/4 probability it will be Chin Tong with the win. Let's see what happens. Consider the music off.
Let love all. Let inside the table. Love all.
There's something very authoritative about that first point. There's something very authoritative about the way that Kaufman just looked at the umpire and said music, pointed to it, and straight away it was cut off. You know, this is somebody who's turned up with confidence, ready to attack this match.
1-all.
Yeah, she's very astute, isn't she, Annette Kaufman? And she knows that she belongs out here. Coming from a family of athletes probably helps that, leads to that.
Such an interesting sporting background. We've talked about it before. It's worth dwelling on again for those of you who are new to watching this young German player. Mother was a very, very good ski racer. Her father played ice hockey professionally. And she has said that they, along with her sister, who is also a very fine coach, all work as a family of sports psychologists, and they discuss elite performance across a number of disciplines at home. It's a real luxury to have that environment. And she's so interested in the human mind. She wants to be a criminologist. Performed well in her high school examinations, the Arbiter last year. Very interesting rally.
Not just the shot making from Kaufman there, but the recovery. She's a taller player. Chen Tong will try and find her crossover section there. Kaufman did well, couldn't repeat that again. So stable, the wide base, the engaged core. Good counterplay from Chin Tong.
I talked about the background, sporting-wise and pedagogically, of Annette Kaufman's family. Well, there's much to say there about Chen Tong, because her family is a family of teachers. Father Jun Jiao absolutely adores the sport of table tennis. So she's also somebody who's from a world where education was always being discussed, debated. There was no shortage of good scholarship in the family home.
3-6.
Just starting to see a pull away coming now from the number 3 seed after a tight start.
Good change of service from Annette Kaufman there. She serves a bit wider, a bit slower, and higher toss. Lost the side spin and top spin there. Chen Tong can't nullify the spin with the forehand receive. Don't get as much flexibility with the wrist on the forehand inside the table. That's why you see players sometimes trying to play the backhand flick even from the forehand side.
Oh, we're getting some fine rallies. Very interesting point construction.
I think Kaufman's playing a really strong game here, but it's just Chen Tong who's been testing the irregular transitions a little bit better so far. quality push, half long. Will there or will there not be a second bounce on my side? Will the ball be attackable? That's what Chen Tong began to ponder, should I say. You can see there, barely any space to work with. She tried to brush the ball to create heavy spin.
Look at Kaufman's reaction, just turned away, aware that so much had been done right there.
Sorry, but she's really taking long.
5-8.
Well, Kaufman just speaking to the umpire there about the time being taken by Chen Tong in between points.
8-6.
This is so interesting, not just tactically, but psychologically.
We saw this in the mixed doubles with Patrick Francisca, using a bit of frustration in the match as fuel to her fire, channeling it well. Annette Kaufman still in this one. Dangled it in front of the nose of Chen Tong, high enough to bait her in, but tight enough to make it tricky. By no means an easy finish there.
Golly.
8-all.
This is compelling. 8 apiece, what a point.
By Jove, what a comeback here from Kaufman. It was a beautiful receive, coming right across the ball with that lofted forehand. The rest was history. How on earth has she managed to come back like this?
Hello, hello. She needs only 2 further points to take the opener.
A shaken and stirred Chen Tong here, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, we were giving you that statistic in the other direction a while ago. Things have changed. Oh, good point from the number 3 seed. Now the big one, with the Chinese player having ball in hand.
That was huge. That was massive there. She wasn't even fully behind the ball. Used the pace on the Kaufman forehand. Staying close to the table. Great block there from Chen.
She's got it. She has the game point.
9-10.
Real test, as we anticipated, for Chen Tong. Oh, that's fabulous.
11-9, first game to
The
Kaufman.
player ranked outside the top 100 has got the opening game.
Well, you might not think it, given how aggressive she was to finish that game, but the patience was key. She waited in case the serve came long. It did. And Kaufman with the killer instinct. What a finish from the German. She was trailing really, really badly at the start of that game. She's turned the tables.
The opening game goes to Annette Kaufman, 11 points to 9. Told you this would be a contest. Now, Gavin Maguire is down there right by the table. Gavin, stop eating that giant bag of popcorn and say something about this match. I bet you're having as much fun as we are.
Yeah, that was a great first set, wasn't it? Really, we saw so much action, really amazing rallies, long. And to be honest, Ollie, Annette Kaufman looked like she was in control of almost every point that went on. You know, she was the one dictating what happened in the rallies. She was the one being the aggressor, trying to change the direction, angles. So it sets us up for a very interesting game too.
Very interesting points made there by Gavin, particularly about that air of control that that player has. There's an authority, a status to Annette Kaufman.
Turn to serve.
There are some
Love
sporting contests that you want to really delve into and analyse a great deal. Sometimes you just want to sit back, frankly, and enjoy the spectacle of it. And one is torn between both stances in this really intriguing match.
Love one.
Now, let's just have a little dose of reality here, Fraser. There are a lot of players who've snuck an opening game against players like Chen Xintong over the years and have found out that the response has been vicious.
Yeah, you have to expect some kind of response here. If you're Annette Kaufmann, beautiful length on the serve from Chen, good deception. Yeah, this will be no easy feat. Kaufmann will have to constantly try and reinvent herself throughout this match.
1-2.
You set the tone beautifully already, Ollie. I just want to add a little bit of spice into the mix. Remember, Chen Xintong and Chen Chenyi lost to the German doubles pair yesterday, Yuen Wan and Sabine Winter.
Sorry.
That is a very interesting further can of worms to open up, actually.
Psychologically, it might